Hey guys, today we are listening to one of the greatest short stories from the book of 100 World's Greatest Short Stories. The title name is WIT Inspirations of the 2-Year-Olds. This story was written by Mark Twain and narrated by Harshita. All events appear to have an impairment and disagreeable fashion nowadays of saying smart things on most occasions that offer, and especially on occasions when they ought not to be saying anything at all. Judging by the average published specimens of smart sayings, the rising generation of children are little better than idiots, and the parents must surely be but little better than the children, for in most cases they are publishers of the sunbreaths of infantile imbecility which dazzle us from the pages of our periodicals. I may seem to speak with some heat, not to say suspicion of personal spite, and I do admit that it nettles me to hear about so many gifted infants in this day, and remember that I seldom said anything smart when I was a child. I tried to once or twice, but it was not popular. The family were not expecting brilliant remarks from me, and so they snubbed me sometimes and spanked me the rest. But it makes my flesh creep and my blood run cold to think what might have happened to me if I had dared to utter some of the smart things of this generation's 4-year-olds, where my father could hear me, to have simply skinned me alive and considered his duty, and at end would have seemed to him criminal leniency toward one so signing. He was stern and smiling man, and hated all forms of curiosity. If I had said some of the things I have referred to and said them in his hearing, he would have destroyed me. He would indeed. He would, provided opportunity remained with me. But it would not, for I would have the judgment enough to take some strike in first and say my smart thing afterward. The fair record of my life has been tarnished by just one pun of my father overheard that, and he haunted me over front of five township seeking to take my life. I have had been full grown, of course he would have been right. But child I was, I could not know how wicked a thing I had done. I made one of those remarks ordinarily called smart things before that, but it was not a pun. Still, it came near causing a serious rupture between my father and myself. My father and mother, my uncle Ephraim and his wife, and one or two others were present, and the conversation turned on a name for me. I was lying there trying some India rubber rings of various patterns and endeavoring to make a selection, for I was trying to my cut teeth on people's finger and wanted to get hold of something that would enable me to hurry things through and get something else. Did you never notice what a nuisance it was cutting your teeth on your nurse finger? Or how back-breaking and try someone it was trying to cut on your big toe? And it did you never get out of patience and wish your teeth were in Jericho long before you got the half cut? To me, it seems as if this happened yesterday, and they did to some children. But I digress. I always trying the India rubber rings. I remember looking at the clock and noticing that in an hour and 25 minutes I would be to weeks old, and thinking how little I had done it merit the blessings that were all so unsparingly lavished upon me. My father said, Abraham is a good name. My grandfather was named Abraham. My mother said Abraham is a good name. Very well, let us have Abraham for one of his names. I said Abraham suits the subscriber. My father frowned. My mother looked pleased. My aunt said, what a little darling it is. My father said Isaac is a good name and Jacob is a good name. My mother assented and said, no names are better. Let us add Isaac and Jacob to his names. I said, all right, Isaac and Jacob are good enough for you are truly. Pass me that rattle if you are busy, please. I can chew India rubber rings all day. Not a soul made a memorable of these sayings of mine for publication. I saw that and I did myself, else they would have been utterly lost. So far from meeting with generous encouragement like other children when developing intellectual, I was now furiously scowled upon by my father. My mother looked grieved and anxious, and even my aunt had about her an expression of seeming to think that maybe I had gone too far. I took a vicious bite out of an India rubber ring and covertly broke the rattle over the kitchen's head, but said nothing. Presently, my father said, Samuel is a very excellent name. I saw that trouble was coming. Nothing could prevent it. I laid down my rattle. Over the side of the cradle, I dropped my uncle's silver watch, the clothes brush, and the toy dog, my tin soldier, the nitium grater, and the matters which I was accustomed to examine and medicate upon and make pleasant noises with the bang and batter and break when I needed wholesome entertainment. Then I put on my little frock and my little bonnet, and took my pagamy shoes in one hand and my liquors in other, and climbed out on the floor. I say it to myself, now if the worst comes to worst, I am ready. Then I said loud in faint voice, Father, I cannot wear the same name of Samuel, my son. Father, I mean it, I cannot. Why? Father, I have an incredible antipathy to that name. My son, this is unresponsible. Many great and good men have been named Samuel. Sir, I have yet to hear of the first instance. What? There was Samuel the prophet was not great and good. Not so very. My son, with his own voice, the Lord called him. Yes, sir, and had to call him a couple times before he could come. And I sallied forth that stand my old man sallied forth after me. He overtook me at noon the following day, and when the interview was over, I have acquired the name Samuel, and a thrashing and other useful information. And by means of this compromise, my father's wrath was appeased and misunderstanding bridged over which might have become a permanent rupture if I had chosen to unresponsible, but I judging by the episode. What would my father have done to me if I had ever uttered in his hearing on the flat. Sickly things these 2 years olds say in print nowadays. In my opinion, there would have been a case of infection in our family. So this is the story, friends. Hope you like this story. Like, share, subscribe to Chiti Kalaka. Click the bell icon for more interesting stories.